Hello all and welcome back to another episode in season 3 of TechRise. For those of you joining us for the first time, I am Desiree Vargas Wrigley, a two-time Latina founder here in Chicago and executive director of TechRise. TechRise is an initiative started in partnership with P33 and Verizon to support BIPOC and women founders in Chicago all the way from idea stage to exit. So each week we have 3 to 5 founders that take the stage and they pitch their business idea to a group of judges. And then the judges ask a few questions and then deliberate and choose a winner for somewhere between $25,000 and $50,000. Today's sponsor is Boeing. So we have some really awesome aerospace, cybersecurity, all the great things that Boeing is invested in here to compete. So we are very excited to have them here. And with that, I'm going to introduce our judges. So first we have Harry Williams. Harry is a senior manager at Boeing and holds an MBA from the City University of Seattle and a Bachelor's of Science from Eureka College. So thanks so much for being here with us today, Harry. And next we have Candice Smith.
Hello.
Good to see you. Next we have Candice Smith, Executive Director, Engineering Excellence at the Boeing Company. She began her Boeing career as a co-op student, joining full-time as an integration engineer for Boeing Defense, Space and Security in St. Louis, Missouri. Since that time, she's held roles of increasing responsibility, such as systems engineer architect on the Future Combat Systems program and systems engineer in Boeing Research and Technology, support and services investigating asset visibility technologies for the DoD. So lots of defense experience. Great to meet you. Thanks so much for being here, Candice. And then finally, we have Denise McKinney. She's Director of Strategic and Corporate Development. In this role, Denise provides leadership and support for enterprise-wide global merger and acquisition activities, including acquisitions, divestitures, equity investments, and joint ventures. She supports broad strategic initiatives as needed and has oversight of the company's M&A leadership team. So it's great to have you with us today, Denise, too. All right. And with that, we're going to get started with our competitors. So first, we're going to welcome Terenee Pilcher with TVP Tech Solutions. All right, and we'll let you know when we can see everything. It looks like you're good to go.
Awesome. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Again, this is Terenee Pilcher with TVP Tech Solutions. And I just want to let everyone know TVP Tech Solutions knows the problem of cybersecurity. We want to get in front of the issues in cybersecurity with small business owners that are already in the community. 51% of businesses have no cybersecurity protocols whatsoever. And 90 to 95% of cybersecurity attacks are caused by human error. So what we do here at TVP Tech Solutions, this is just a graph here to give you an idea of small businesses and medium-sized businesses and where they are on the cybersecurity stage, pretty much. Most have no MFA whatsoever, that's multi-factor authentication. And again, 51% have no cybersecurity at all, and that includes customers' credit card information. The solution that we offer is getting in front of the problem and educating business owners and their staffs on cybersecurity best practices, whether it's virtually or here at the brick and mortar location on the south side of Chicago, Studio 15, which is our headquarters. This is a space not only to teach virtually, but I also can bring people in, bring staff and business owners in to teach them cybersecurity best practices and protocols and IT procedures. We address, assess, and manage the potential vulnerabilities in the system. And that's the goal, is to bring awareness about cybersecurity for business owners, especially in my community who are business owners, but they have no clue that someone can help them in this field and get ahead of the issue. I have over 20 years of experience in network and cybersecurity to be able to train people within my community. I'm already in the community doing the white glove service of work, along with assessments, along with suggestions and how they can get in front of the issue. How the $25,000 could be used, I would hire staff that not only is providing employment for people who are in my community, who are in the tech field looking to help others, but also it would help the funding and ownership of our brick and mortar business right here at 2141 West 95th Street in Beverly, Chicago. This pretty much TVP Tech Solutions will be a hub of everything tech on the south side of Chicago. Again, I am the tech therapist, and I have so much just investment into my community and helping others get in front of their cybersecurity issues, whether they're a part of that 51% or they'll be a part of the 49% starting their business. They can start at the ground level, getting their technology together. This is our team, and I'm looking to fill a couple of positions to be able to help me train our community with cybersecurity protocols and policies and getting in front of the issue. And again, I would love to work with different people, not just my community. I've worked with people across the country, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, helping them get in front of their cybersecurity issues for their small businesses. So that way they're not a part of the 51% that does have no cybersecurity protocols whatsoever for their businesses. And pretty much tech is everything that I do. Tech is life. And being able to help folks who are small business owners who don't know about cybersecurity or how to defend themselves against cybersecurity is where I come in, especially if they don't have an internal IT department. I step in and be able to help them get in front of their cybersecurity issues and protect them and make them aware. Thank you.
Great job, Terenee. Ooh, got an echo, sorry about that. And I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name in the beginning, but judges, we are welcome you on now. And Terenee, you can stop sharing the presentation so we can see everyone's faces a little bit bigger. All right, Candice, do you want to kick us off? Oh. No, sorry.
If I can come off mute, I sure do want to kick us off. Thank you so much for that presentation. You know, your niche market sounds like you're focused on small to medium businesses in the community where you have your brick and mortar, which is where you'll use the 25K to expand that brick and mortar. For businesses like that, they don't often know they have a problem until it happens. How are you attracting those clients and convincing them that your service is the value offering to help them prevent those cyber attacks and issues they could face?
Sure. Well, I've already worked with a lot of businesses, not only in my community, but across states, being able to assess their business, point out those vulnerabilities and help them and show them how they can cure that and how TVP Tech Solutions can take care of those solutions while they focus on the business. We take care of the details and the logistics on the back end, so that way they can focus on their front end in a complete picture.
Harry, you want to go next?
Hey, thank you. So my questions are more around your marketing strategy in terms of funding. So I understand you discussed how you used the $25,000, but what's your strategy? Do you plan on raising more money, and then how do you plan on doing it?
Sure. Currently, I've used all of my own money. I've not used any loans, any grants. I've not used any family money whatsoever. I've made the investment on my own. Word of mouth, I have a great assistant. She's actually out of the DMV area. She's an author and an amazing social media presence that she has created for us that allows us to reach out to cross markets. So not just my community, all communities that pretty much don't have any knowledge whatsoever in cybersecurity or have any knowledge of what it's about. I'm able to bring my network security and cybersecurity knowledge and expertise into the conversation. I want to be able to bring business owners in the space so that way they can do word of mouth and spread the word and get in front of their issues that they might not even know about to their other cohorts of business owners. And again, I will be able, maybe a portion to use that towards the marketing. But as of right now, I've used all my hard-earned money to put everything for the brick and mortar, for the business, and all marketing strategies thus far.
All right, Denise.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to hone in on, you mentioned or have talked about your years of experience. Can you talk a little bit more about where that experience comes from? I don't know if you've actually
Sure.
worked in the IT industry or if it comes from education, like a little bit more about your background and how you have actually kind of practiced your expertise.
Sure. I studied computer engineering at Northern Illinois University. I studied network security at Prairie State College and graduated 4.0 Phi Theta Kappa. I am also an IT director for a PR firm, and I have worked my way up in IT ever since I graduated from Prairie State. Not only that, I have written IT policies and procedures for the companies that I've worked for, including the Shriver Center. I've created disaster recovery policies and IT policies and procedures. And I've actually just written a business resumption plan and putting password policies, encryption policies at the different companies that I work for thus far. I am actually a member of the National Cybersecurity Alliance, and I'm a mentor to 5 students that are in university, including the UK. And I'm also a mentor at the Black Girls in Technology organization, and I have about 5 young ladies that I mentor over there. And I've also worked with people outside of my 9 to 5, and yes, I do 9 to 5 and this when I get off. I have done cybersecurity audits for business and helping them with their documentation, because what a lot of businesses don't realize is that when they have insurance and they're taking care of clients' financial data, they have to pass a cybersecurity audit. And they're like, what is that? I don't know what that is. What documentation do they need? So I've taken a company that was getting marked at a C level from their audit and got them up to an A level with the documentation and assessment that I was able to come in, physically assess, and then provide the documentation out.
Terenee, I got to cut us off, but that was such a great recap of your career and in your accreditations, and congratulations on so much success so far. All right. Thanks for a great pitch. Thank you, judges. And we're going to welcome our next competitor on. We have Sandra Formenton, from EvertiSky.
That's correct. Thank you.
Denise, do you mind going video off while she presents? Thanks. All right, Sandra, we'll let you know when we can see everything. All right, looks good.
There ain't nothing more Chicago than traffic congestion. Did you know Chicago is #1 in the country when it comes to traffic congestion? And it's also the second worst in the whole entire world, with residents driving up to 155 hours every year sitting in traffic. Welcome to Chicago, where patience is virtue. You go to work, you got patience. You go home, you got patience. You order pizza, you got patience. You call 911, you got patience. Enter the emerging urban air mobility industry, projected to worth $24.2 billion by 2033. You go to work, you take an air taxi, an entirely new type of electric aircraft ready for you at your vertiport neighborhood location to take off and fly below traditional aviation to destinations across your city and suburbs. Over 300 companies invested into urban air mobility. In fact, Uber and Toyota invested over $1 billion into Joby Aviation, a UAM air taxi company. I would love to hop in an air taxi now. From my suburb, it takes me 1.5 hours to drive to downtown Chicago, while with an air taxi will take me only 15 minutes at the same cost as Uber and Lyft ride sharing. The air taxis are here, but can I hop on an air taxi now? No. There is a complex nexus of need of UAM infrastructure. There is no ground space, airspace, customer experience infrastructure. There is nowhere to land, where to take off. There are no roads and flight paths for these vehicles. And there is no air traffic management system for this aircraft to assure they don't collide. They are too small and flying too low to be seen by radar and satellite. So what does EvertiSky do? We provide an app. You use it to order your air taxi, your delivery, your pizza, and call for help. We provide the roads for air taxi to fly safely and efficiently. We build and design state-of-the-art vertiports from where you take off and land. And all this is connected to our neural network embedded in cities. In the same way Microsoft embedded its first Windows operating system into IBM computers, our products, the first products that you are going to use in urban air mobility, is part of this neural network. EvertiSky was founded in 2022 as a single source of expertise for cities and megaplex owners seeking to activate urban air mobility. Our goal is to conduct 30 UAM projects globally and generating $179 million annually through our UAM infrastructure projects and data services. We are also the official provider of the UAM workforce training at the Chicago and Eastern Massachusetts Urban League, and we're also the sponsor at the Chicago UAM and Professional Drone Pilots working groups. EvertiSky is committed into activating urban air mobility also on behalf of our stakeholders while providing a comprehensive solution and optimize their urban air mobility through our world-class design, infrastructure, and design. EvertiSky UAM stock provides a powerful tool for cities for planning, monitoring, managing, and deploying ground and airspace assets. As the urban air mobility industry evolves, the need of real-time data and insights becomes increasingly important in our everyday lives. I also have my business partner, CTO Steve Philpott, that is going to join us at a Q&A. I'm Sandra Formenton, CEO at EvertiSky.
Sandra, great job. Thank you so much. All right, judges, you can come on, and Harry, we're going to kick things off with you.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Interesting product. My question to you is, how do you plan on sorting through or working through, because it sounds like you're really dependent on a lot of the infrastructure, and if the infrastructure is currently not in place, how are you working with providers to help get that infrastructure put in place?
We are a single source expertise when it comes to play to this. We have exclusive partners that help us also to reduce the cost on the client side as well. And in the meantime, our first step in collaborating with cities and stakeholders is our UAM feasibility study. That's our also growth model when it comes to the ecosystem. We are single source. Our single source aspect is connected to every component, and the UAM feasibility study is a kickoff to make that happen.
And we are the infrastructure provider, where the FAA, EASA, and some of the aviation regulators around the world are looking for infrastructure, whether it be ground or airspace structures. We are able to provide both of those. So we have a partnership, or we have a contract that we're completing with NASA that will give us the ability to deploy that infrastructure that the industry seeks through the FAA in partnership with this NASA infrastructure that's been pre-developed for organizations like ours to publish our content.
Denise.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit, I don't think I heard this mentioned in your presentation, on what you would use the $25,000 for, and kind of what specific value is that going to bring to your overall vision?
So the price of $25,000 will be allocated to support research and development, and also specifically for, as Steve mentioned, the NASA co-patent product, and as well as supporting additional funding.
I'm sorry, just the last piece that you said, another co-something product. I didn't quite hear what you said.
Co-patent product with the NASA.
Co-patent, okay. Yeah, got it.
Candice, you want to go next?
Thank you. So you talked a lot about being the single source from the digital infrastructure to the physical infrastructure. Which area is a little bit more mature for your service offering right now?
Neither. In fact, this is a nascent industry in which the focus for the past few years has been on aircraft manufacturing. So you'll see tens of billions of dollars poured into the development of those aircraft. And then this aha moment that has just really happened in the past few months, if you watch the stock of these aircraft manufacturers, that, oh, we have no place to take off and land from. Now, our development process started in 2015 to look at the infrastructure first, not even knowing that air taxis would be a thing. We knew drones would be a thing, and there would be exponentially more traffic from drones than commercial air carriers. So we wanted to develop an infrastructure for drone flights, specifically in Chicago, because that's where we kind of do a lot of activity. But we found that same application applied to the air taxi concern.
We have time for some more questions. So judges, yeah, please, Denise.
Yeah, so outside of your interaction with NASA or FAA, can you, and again, if this is proprietary, but can you speak to other partnerships? Because again, within this industry, the need to kind of integrate with the platform and what you're doing. So can you speak to either other platform providers or other partnerships that you have generated?
Sure. So we look at our ecosystem in terms of categories and tiers. So our stakeholders, our partners, run from the operators of the aircraft to the stakeholder that's going to manage, own, sell that ground space to be a landing, vertiport, or cargo hub. In between there are workforce development partners. There are energy providers that have nascent technologies that would like to introduce those technologies into the space. There are also a number of data scientists. I mean, this stems from a project we worked on with Argonne National Lab originally. So there are a number of data scientists that look at what we're doing in computer vision and machine learning to apply what they know to UAM, as well as utilize what we're doing for some aspects of UAM. So the biggest, and we also have community development partners too. The biggest point of entry for UAM in cities is community engagement. So we have a very strong community engagement.
I got to cut us off to be fair, but great job, EvertiSky team. Thank you so much, judges, for your question. And we have our final competitor coming to the stage. We're going to welcome Mariana Padilla with KIKrr.
Hello, everyone. All righty. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. Let me just move you over so I can see timer. Got the multi-screen situation here. Okay. All right.
There we go. And whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. So, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Mariana Padilla, and today I'm excited to be talking to you about KIKrr. So let's kick us off. See what I did there? By having you think about some of your favorite shopping experiences. For me, that's REI, but whatever you're thinking of, I would put money on the fact that absolutely none of you were thinking about a time you had to purchase software for your organization or team. In general, purchasing enterprise SaaS software is a time-consuming process that requires multiple touch points with pushy salespeople. And this process is even worse when purchasing cybersecurity software. In fact, it routinely takes 18 months for chief information security officers, or CISOs, and other buyers to find a product that they think meets their needs. This is extremely problematic given that cyber crimes occur every 37 seconds, and the cost for those crimes is going to rise to $10.5 trillion a year by 2025. It's clear that the cybersecurity sales process is broken. KIKrr solves this problem. We're a self-service demo marketplace that connects highly qualified buyers with SaaS cybersecurity vendors. So here's how it works. First, cybersecurity vendors engage KIKrr to build their immersive production quality demos, and their product is listed in our marketplace. Next, CISOs and other buyers use our time-bound, hands-on demos to explore options and compare products side by side. Buyers find the product that best meets their company's needs and connects with the vendor. Vendors receive our lead and can be confident that the sales will close. And buyers, they're super happy they didn't waste time getting stuck in the traditional sales process. Lastly, we keep CISOs and other cybersecurity professionals engaged via our Hackerverse community that we liken to Twitch for hackers, where they can connect with other industry professionals and learn about new threats. For the supply side of the marketplace, we're targeting mid-market SaaS cybersecurity companies. This is a serviceable, obtainable market of $3.1 billion a year, while the TAM is $330 billion a year. Our first paying customer is acquired through LinkedIn outreach, and we're in negotiation with 7 other cybersecurity vendors, one of whom is obtained via our weekly video podcast. We're targeting buyers of cybersecurity solutions for the demand side of the business, and we'll be leveraging product-led growth to grow our customer base. To reach customers now, we're using social media, our podcast, and building a community of ethical hackers and risk executives that's growing rapidly and now close to 1,000 members. We anticipate our cost for acquisition to be $9,000 for vendors and $22 for buyers. And our annual customer value for vendors is $70,000 and $200 for buyers. As you can see, there are other demo platforms currently in market. However, none of these provide custom-made demos created by world-class technical marketers or have access to a marketplace. On the demand side, we provide the unique ability for buyers to try before they buy, compare product features side by side, and gain access to an engaged community of cybersecurity professionals. We have lofty goals for the next several years. By 2026, we aim to have a marketplace with over 600 vendors and 51,000 customers. Importantly, we're also aiming to tackle the broader SaaS market for our demos by 2026. A prize of $25,000 will be split 2 ways. $12,000 will allow me to focus full-time on KIKrr and oversee the product development of our proprietary community platform that we need to build to attract the buyers that vendors need to see in order to join the marketplace. There are a lot of reasons why now is the right time for KIKrr, including the fact that approximately 70% of all today's B2B buyers complete their research before contacting sales, and we're simply accelerating that trend. Our team is perfectly suited to succeed. Collectively, we have almost 100 years of cybersecurity and entrepreneurship experience, and we're super lucky to have an IP advisor filing our patents and trademarks. KIKrr's disruptive demo on demand platform is a win-win for buyers and sellers for so many reasons. But ultimately, when cybersecurity software is easier to buy, the world is a safer place. Thank you.
Great job, Mariana. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to start off with Denise. Or there you go.
Sorry,
Denise.
I'm a little slow.
No, it's okay.
Let's see. I wanted to ask you a little bit about competition. How do you actually assess your competitors and adjust as appropriate to strengthen the offering that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So keeping track of what they're doing online is one way we do that. Obviously, paying attention to their content is really important as well to see what they're offering. As it stands right now, these are simply templated demo tools that vendors can access and put their product into on their own time. It is simply a Band-Aid on the problem. It is not solving the sales problem as a whole, right? So if these cybersecurity companies are having a hard time already selling and marketing their product, giving them access to a templated demo tool is not going to be the solution that solves their problem. And so that's really our differentiating factor there, is that KIKrr produces the quality demos for them, because that's really our zone of genius, is the technical marketing piece of things. And then we place that in the marketplace so that CISOs and other decision makers can really evaluate solutions on their own time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much. Do you have a plan to pivot if your the pace of building that community-based platform isn't accelerated? You mentioned that's how you would use, I think it was half of the 25K. What's your pivot plan if you can quickly build that community platform?
Absolutely. And so we already have that in production with our development team, actually. So that's already kind of in place. But ultimately, if, the community piece of things, I do believe it's going to take off based on a lot of consumer research that we have done. We already also have people in Slack and Discord and on our mailing list who are already engaged. It's simply a case of migrating them over to our platform. But should it be the case that we're like, okay, this isn't really growing as fast as we want to, then we would pivot our go-to-market approach to really be focusing consistently on producing the demos and kind of pivot away from the marketplace play. So the marketplace play really appeals to, I would say, the demand side of things. So people can go in and evaluate solutions side by side, and it's great from that perspective. But if it's like, okay, not as many people are joining the marketplace as are joining the community as we would hope, then it becomes a situation of, okay, the pitch is really that we can create these amazing demos that, you know, and vendors can embed on their websites and use as a pre-sale tool. And ultimately, it's still going to provide that same value. It's going to shorten the sales cycle pretty dramatically. It's just a different way of getting that message across.
Gary.
Okay, I'm just trying to better understand. So your targeted base, is it the buyer side or the vendor side? And what's your plans to increase that?
So we're a double-sided marketplace. So it's both. So we have vendors on the supply side of our marketplace, and we have CISOs and other buyers on the demand side of the marketplace. So currently we're in negotiations with 7 vendors to bring them onto our platform. We currently have 1 paying customer, 2 more already committed. We're signing contracts next week and we're getting money in the door. And so it really is kind of a balance of building out both of those sides at the same time. So far, it's been a little bit harder to build out the vendor side of things, simply because it's kind of a newer space. They're not really used to seeing a marketplace for a highly technical products like cybersecurity. So I think there's a little bit of an education piece to what we're doing and making sure people understand the value of that. But on the demand side of things, really there is a desire for some sort of community where they can access products at the same time. So statistics show that 90% of buyers go to their community first to ask about and research tools before evaluating solutions. So if we are seen as the place that people can come to and connect with community members and then go and be able to do hands-on try before you buy a situation, that's exactly what they want, right? The statistics show that they're already asking community members first about solutions before going to a vendor and getting on a demo. So it's a situation we have both supply and demand, and balancing building both of those at the same time provides a unique challenge, but we are up to that.
We have time for one quick question, or Mariana can give us some closing. Oh, go ahead, Denise.
Anybody else? Because I got a quick one. I'm not clear. How do you make money? So do you make money? You get when a transaction happens, just real quickly on your.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So on the demand side of things, it's product-led growth. People are signing up for free. We don't think we can at this point in time justify monetizing that. So all of the money is coming in on the demand side. So on the demand side, vendors pay us to build their demos. That is services time and time spent building out those demos and getting that on AWS and our team's time. And so an onboarding fee and contracts for that can range anywhere between, I would say, $40,000 and $70,000, depending on how many demos they would like built. There's also some.
Sorry, I do have to cut us off. I'm sorry. We're at the 9.5-minute mark today, so it was a more generous time than usual, but a great Q&A. Judges, thank you so much for all the great questions, and Mariana, great final pitch for us. So the judges now have the unenviable job of going to decide who is the winner. And while they're doing that, we're going to invite a former winner of TechRise onto the stage. We have Tammera Holmes joining us. So Tammera is a strong advocate for youth in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, with an aviation management degree from Southern Illinois University. She has cemented an impressive curriculum, or CV, I'm going to say that because I'm going to mess up the Latin, in aviation in both the professional and academic arenas. Her focus to get more African-American females and other underrepresented populations interested in aviation STEM careers. Her AeroStar program offers youth strategies and tools for a future beyond their imagination. So nice to see you again. How are you?
Hi, Desiree. So great to see you guys, and incredible work. Again, season 3, kudos to you and Sean and the team for continuing to make strides and supporting minority businesses in Chicago, tech businesses with the capital that they need. Those statistics are just still appalling, but the work that you guys are doing is truly making a difference. I know for sure, because it's happening for me.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait to explore that more. I did forget in the opening to talk about the progress. So thank you for the little bit of a nudge. I'm going to use 2 seconds to do that, which is that, we've deployed about $2 million to founders, but they've gone on and raised over $50 million in follow-on funding in 2 years. And that was our 5-year goal. And so doing it in 2 makes it feel like this is a real, a real movement and things are happening. So, but I think the same thing is true for you. So do you want to talk a little bit about, first tell everyone what you're working on and then maybe progress over the last year?
So I did pitch under my for-profit business, which is AeroStar Consulting Corporation. It is the parent and visionary organization of the nonprofit, which now deploys our programming model. But the model was designed under the for-profit, and it is the state-of-the-art talent pipeline model to actually train STEM professionals from kindergarten to career. Now, these pipelines exist in athletic model for music. When young people play an instrument, they can play in band, and they can play in an orchestra. They know what schools to go to. In athletics, when young people have an aptitude or show an aptitude for soccer or baseball, they're in the little leagues, then they're in middle school, then they're on traveling teams, then they pick high schools and colleges based on the coaches and those opportunities. But none of that exists in STEM. And so after designing our pipeline, we realized that there was a critical component missing. And that's what we pitched. We pitched creating some of the first aviation registered apprenticeship programs for pilots, drone pilots, traditional pilots, as well as aircraft mechanics. And since we have won, we have now, in the final weeks of preparation to send those 3 registered apprenticeship programs off to the Department of Labor. We would not have been able to hire the expertise that we needed to get those applications done perfectly through a company that has created registered apprenticeships over and over again for the Department of Labor. And I'm so happy to say that ours is so unique because it's specifically geared towards creating some proprietary or implementing some proprietary units around not only the technical education and training, but also social emotional wellness, which a lot of is missing in the technical arena. And so we're so proud to be a TechRise champion and winner. And I'm excited for everyone on this call, not just the person that's going to win, but all of your vision and the work that you're putting into your companies. Just stay diligent and committed, and the opportunities will present themselves.
Well, that is an incredible recap, and I just feel so honored to be part of this journey just a little bit, because the impact that you're going to have, not just for your own, hopefully like wealth creation for your family and for your employees, but also for the people that you're going to be hiring and training along the way, is so powerful. I personally am obsessed with the idea that we have this really large pool of native, I'm taking us off script as I always do, I hope that's okay. But we have these, these native Chicagoans in their 30s with so much earning potential left in their careers. And I know I completely agree with you that the entire career pipeline isn't there for STEM. And I love the analog you have with sports. And you're right, many students have to go to a specialized school if they really want to double and triple down on STEM, which takes them out of their communities, out of their friend groups, and doesn't necessarily allow them to flourish in the same way. So such a critical
and less
pathway.
than 5% of Chicago public school. Well, I wouldn't even say Chicago public schools. I think the statistic that I read was from a national report. Less than 5% of high school graduates are college STEM ready.
Yeah.
Which means they might be college ready, but when it comes to the extra criteria that's required for STEM career readiness, they're not proficient. Their math isn't where it needs to be. Their analytical and problem solving skills isn't where it needs to be. And the resilience that it takes to get through those programs and the self-confidence, especially when they're underrepresented, with not having any female professors, not having any minority professors, especially Black and Latino, it's a huge issue for them to be able to have those experiences in the collegiate program that's rigorous. And it's not because they're not capable, they just don't have a support system.
I completely agree. So part of my question to you is more philosophical. Like, how do you think we can reopen that path for young people who may have opted out, especially women who think, I'll just go into marketing, or I'll go into something that is more familiar and more kind of traditionally feminine in the professional world?
So it's a couple of things that we can do, and I'll talk both from an economic standpoint and philosophical, because you need both, right? The truth of the matter is, if I was a white man and had the ideas that I have, I'd be a millionaire many times over by now. And we can say that for a lot of minorities and women who just don't have access to capital, who don't have the network, who don't have really the family pedigree and the tradition, of these fields in their families. So the first thing that I would say is, creating surrogate surrogate environments where we can grow this talent and mature this talent. That's what AeroStar has become. We have become an aviation family and have created a legacy of aviation for students who didn't have families in aviation, whose dad or mothers weren't pilots or flight attendants. And so now AeroStar is an aviation community for them. It's a surrogate community, but it's a community. And those type of communities also need financial investments. There are some things that we absolutely need to pay and support for those young people that are small barriers to entry. We have so many young people who it takes $1,500 almost to take the exams to become an aircraft mechanic. How many low-income families have an extra $1,500 sitting around? I don't know one. The statistic is the average family in America is one emergency away from going under financially, which can be anything from an extra $500 to $1,000 expense. So we have to create a national, and I would like to see a national STEM scholarship for young people starting at age 16 so that they can get the books that they need. They can get the materials that they need that cost. If you have a student that wants to go into photography, a good camera is $500, a professional camera. For pilots, they need iPads, they need headsets. Headsets, $250 starting out. You want Bose or noise canceling headsets? That's $1,000 for headsets. So the small things that we don't even think about, where other people, that's not an issue. You know, I have an extra, grandma gave me $5,000 for high school graduation. I'm like, what? Like, I saw my first
I didn't get that
when
till
I was like 21 years old.
You beat me to it. I did not have that either. But it leads to a point, which is that careers in this industry are high paying, right? Like it is a path, aren't they? Well,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a pathway to middle class.
Pay for women and minorities, but it is high paying industry, and transportation is one of the highest. What we've seen is that those who have a struggle making it through the collegiate programs and still are successful, they still have to start at the bottom of the barrel and go through a lot of those same barriers. And what we've determined as workplace aggression and even workplace discrimination, which is traumatic for young minorities, going into, in some situations, very, very, very overwhelming. Working for the firm that I worked for 11 years, the last 7 years that I was there, I was the only Black person working for the firm globally on professional staff. 7 years? You can't tell me I'm the only one that's qualified to work. And for 50 years in the history of that company, and a woman had never been in leadership at the executive level over that company. There was some women managing directors, but at the C-suite level, it was just 50 years. And so the company was great. It was a great corporate culture, but the industry was just, it's just so overwhelming to be the only. And we really have to get young people to that place where they can even just start and generating income and that level of earning potential. And then, what some of these, what we haven't really talked about is how to manage finances, how to run a business. The things that Denise does, for Boeing and a lot of other companies, they have individuals that have financial backgrounds in their family. They can go talk to a family member or a friend of the family that's a lawyer or that's a CPA and get some advice on where to invest or how to, open their first stock account. It's not just about earning potential, it's about money management and wealth management, because there are a lot of minority families and a lot of small business owners who are making a killing. They just don't have the infrastructure to be able to sustain that revenue and to then be able to invest and to recreate, reimagine. And one of the things that Candice mentioned earlier, to pivot, when they need to. But all of that comes at very expensive mistakes for small businesses. And I see TVP saying so, all so true. I know you guys are just like, oh my God, I know you're nervous and waiting to hear about the money, but I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation because, nobody is a loser today. Everybody is, this is just practice. It's really practice because you're going to have to pitch your company as an executive. And 4 minutes, you can do it. You really can do it.
I know, I mean, not to toot our own horn, but the 4 minutes is very intentional because it's actually about the amount of time you get in like a cocktail pitch or an opening kind of sequence before you need to give room for other people to talk. And it's about as long as the attention span can last when you're in a monologue. So there is a bit of science behind the way that we do this. It's pretty uniform across multiple pitch competitions, but do want to say that there's intention behind it.
I love it.
Thank you. I completely agree with you that, you know, one small piece of the entire process towards equity is us, you know, training and getting people ready to then take advantage of these opportunities. But there's a whole other set of challenges around being the only or one of the few when you do emerge successfully through a program like yours or even a program like ours. And we see that same thing, entrepreneurs, you know, getting into late seed investing where they raised $2 million or $4 million, and then they get invited to a portfolio event and they're suddenly the only ones there. And it can kind of disorient you a little bit off of your path if you suddenly are comparing yourselves to others in a different community. So I'm curious, beyond pushing more apprenticeships through and getting more young people acclimated to this work, like what else do you think we can be doing to make sure that when people do graduate from your program and others, hopefully that will follow your excellent example, that the community of support at the mid-career and the later career exists?
So one of the reasons why I love the Registered Apprenticeship Program through the Department of Labor, and the reason why we were so excited about winning the pitch, was that it gave us the money to really get it right out the gate, and launch national registered apprenticeship programs, not just for the state of Illinois, which is a game changer. The Registered Apprenticeship Program model actually comes with a requirement from the employer. That's what I love about it the most. So we're just not matriculating young people through a training program so they get a certificate and they can add that to their, you know, resume and put it on LinkedIn that they just got a certificate. No, the employer hasn't invested in them throughout the entire process of the apprenticeship program. And now they have a commitment to see that young person through their first year working in a professional arena with support services as an employer. That's really, you know, a game changer for the aviation industry. And that has not been the case. It's been the case for what they would call blue collar jobs. And aviation has never been considered a blue collar job as a pilot, but it absolutely is. It's a skilled trade, but people like to make things, you know, more elite and more mysterious, you know, and it is super cool and sexy. And I know it is,
yeah,
you know, but at the same
also
time,
they make a lot of money sometimes, right? Doesn't like a first chair make like $500,000?
The painters and electricians at O'Hare make the same money as an airline captain.
Oh, really?
$100,000 to be a union painter and foreman at O'Hare.
Wow, what a huge opportunity for people.
HVAC. $100,000.
You know what I just learned?
And they can get there in 5 years. And a pilot start out making $30,000, $40,000 a year flying for the regionals. And before the national pilot shortage, it was taking them almost 6 years to get to $100K. Oh, so wow. It's not that far off. I mean, I think we relegate these jobs. Truck drivers, you know, you get a CDL, you're making more than $100,000 a year in your first 2 years if you're able to secure the loads and run logistics operation. But that's, again, learning the business behind the trade, getting those other skill sets like financial management, like marketing, that, you know, Henry brought up earlier on the call when asking a question to one of the ladies. And so it's important that, you know, not just the hiring, right, but what does entrepreneurship look like? What does growing your business look like? What other schools, what other certificates and professional development can you get as an employee that can propel you into, you know, business ownership, which it has been shown that minorities that own businesses hire more minorities and women than businesses that's not minority and woman led. And so entrepreneurship has to be a part of the conversation to create wealth management and help grow companies, help grow minority businesses from employee status and getting these jobs.
I couldn't agree more. It's been so great to hear the update and to just see your progress, and congrats on getting those applications in. I think you're going to produce thousands of amazing high-paying jobs and really elevate people. But it looks like the judges are back with their answers, so I'm going to welcome them back to the stage. And founders, you want to join us back on the stage so we can say who the winner is going to be and who's announcing today. Denise?
I am. So
Great.
should I just jump in?
We'll wait till the founders all come back on so we can see their
okay.
reactions. So we need Sandra back on, and we've got Mariana. I think we've got everyone. So yeah, when you're ready.
Okay, awesome. So I want to thank all of the founders. We really enjoyed your presentations, and we understand some of the challenges that you face, and this is a great opportunity that we get to at least support one of you. And I would say primarily for just the clarity of vision, really encapsulation of business model, the efficiency of the use of funds that were described, we have determined that KIKrr is our winner for today. So congratulations, Mariana.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mariana and team, and thank you so much, Boeing, for supporting another amazing competition. And so impressive to have these amazing women take the stage, representing industries that aren't typically as representative with women. So just a reminder to Sandra and to Terenee that you guys are welcome back on the TechRise stage and you're part of the family. So it's not a one and done experience, but we're so happy for KIKrr's team today, and we will see you all in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, everyone.
Congrats.
Thank you.